upload that.
You might want to put your
Facebook.
book down. Look at
Well, they can get away and film it.
No.
Oh, that would have been so smart.
Excuse me, everybody. Thank you. Excuse me. Excuse me. Thank you for coming to our debate on Adderall. We really appreciate you all coming. It shouldn't take too long, but again, we appreciate you coming out. So we're going to begin. College students are under an extremely large amount of stress. Lando 06, significance. On top of taking full class loads, students are often holding down part-time jobs to help pay for school, managing a social life and career in clubs, and working towards paying off their debt of school. This stress is doubled as students get higher in their years because they are now faced with the stress of finding jobs. No longer are Dunkin' Donuts coffees or energy drinks like Monster or Red Bull strong enough to accompany college students in their late-night study binges. Instead of today's students have moved on to a stronger toxic, the prescription drug known as Adderall. Adderall is a medication intended for people with attention deficit hyperactive disorder, ADHD. It is so appealing to college students because of its abilities to increase alertness, to focus and raise energy levels, which enables them to complete assignments quicker with fewer distractions. When college students are faced with heavy workloads and nearly unmanageable schedules, a tiny pill like Adderall may seem like a dream fix. But students need to remember that their Adderall-induced study binges can cause problems that can creep up on them later down the road. Many students, instead of focusing on studying for finals, are instead opting for the easy way out by using Adderall to help them study and take tests more efficiently. DeSantis 08. Harms. In recent years, researchers have begun investigating the illegal use of stimulants prescribed for the treatment of ADHD on American college campuses. Estimates of the prevalence of these use have tended to vary. DeSantis 08 conducted a multi-study in which they surveyed 10,904 students at 119 nationality representative four-year U.S. colleges. They found that 4.1% of students surveyed had used an illegal prescription stimulant in the past year and have reported that it was illegally used. Among the highest users, 1. White fraternity members, 2. Students from the U.S. Northeast, and 3. Students from colleges with more competitive admission standards. They also found that non-medical prescription stimulants users were more likely to report the use of alcohol, cigarettes, cocaine, marijuana, ecstasy, along with other high-risk behaviors. Exploring these issues of ethnicity and motivation, when the Latino college students were more likely to use prescription stimulants illegally than were African American and Asian students. They also found that the majority of students who used legally prescription stimulants, regardless of ethnicity, did do so to enhance their academic performances. 65% reported using these drugs to aid in concentration, 59.8% to help study, and 47.5% to increase alertness. Other motives not associated with academic performance included getting high, 31%, and experimentation, 29.9%. Rendhall 11. Adderall has become an increasingly available drug due to the growing frequencies of doctors diagnosing students with ADD and ADHD disorder. Inherency. Once these students have been prescribed these drugs, they can sell them on the black market that oftentimes is found on college campuses. This black market, classmates can buy Adderall and other drugs to help them focus on studying, instead of simply relying on traditional study methods and preparing for tests, projects earlier. Adderall has many side effects, such as serious heart problems, and on top of that, Adderall is also a gateway drug for more serious substances such as marijuana and cocaine. Plan. The students of Illinois State University should stop using Adderall for recreational uses, such as studying for tests, pulling all-nighters, and working on projects. Instead, students should focus on starting to study earlier for projects and tests more advanced, and employing other traditional study methods to prepare for their studies. Solvency. The university will offer more classes on study habits, time management, taking tests, and will block social networking sites through ISU networks. Professors should offer more review sessions to prepare students for these tests, organize study groups for the class, and offer more frequent check-ins on papers and projects. When final exam week rolls around, it's much easier and healthier to get a good night's rest, study with friends, take breaks, and efficiently manage one's time.
Balancing busy schedules that include school, jobs, family, and personal lives, students everywhere have obtained massive amounts of stress throughout their college careers. Adderall usage has become common among students to help them deal and work through stresses of their everyday lives. Students of ISU should be allowed to use Adderall to help study for exams and deal with the stressors of college. Adderall usage is fine in moderation and helps students to be able to focus, perform well, and succeed on their everyday problems. Counterpoint. Adderall should be available to students over the counter in small doses. Several prescription drugs, such as Claritin, Advil, Sinus, and Sudafed, have been made available in small doses without prescriptions. Disadvantage. Uniqueness. The affirmative talks about how they don't think Adderall should be for recreational use, but you do not have complete control over the use of any drug. An example of this would be marijuana. It is illegal in most states, but yet is still being used. Externally, your plan costs too much money. It's not economical to spend the amount of money to monitor. Internally, since monitoring costs money, you have to charge the patient extra for the prescriptions, which can cause them to sell it and also sell it for a larger price, which will in turn make it so that Adderall will be harder for students to get, which could potentially lead to other illegal drug use in order to get through the demand of their lives. Impact. If people are selling it illegally to non-prescriptions, then this means that people are taking it who don't need it. This can lead to misuse and addictive behaviors and possibly other illegal recreational use of other drugs. Harms. Adderall helps students focus on study. Students turn to study drugs to improve grades, concentration, Noroko and Rodi. With finals approaching, more and more students are turning to prescription drugs, particularly Adderall, to improve their concentration and enhance their study habits. Adderall can help people improve grades, said Dr. Stephen Lipskis, clinical professor of psychiatry and behavioral science at George Washington. It's a very legitimate drug when properly prescribed. Ritalin, Adderall, and other stimulant medications for ADHD. Medication is widely accepted as the most effective treatment for ADHD. It can distractly improve the quality for life for people who otherwise have trouble succeeding at work, maintaining relationships, and accomplishing their goals. Stimulants may also improve social adjustment or academic performance. Inherency. Adderall does not increase heart problems or cause any serious health problems, and Adderall is not a gateway drug. ADHD drugs do not increase heart problems. Niehaus. Stimulants used to treat attention deficit hyperactivity disorder do not increase the risk of heart attacks, strokes, or sudden deaths. Researchers studied the medical records of young children and young adults ages 2 to 24 who were taking or had taken stimulants such as Ritalin or Adderall and found no sign of increased risk of heart problems. We don't see any evidence of increased risks, said Dr. William Cooper of Vanderbilt University. Adderall is not a gateway drug. Some media sources have tried to sensationalize the prescribed of methamphetamine as a gateway drug that leads to other addictions. Such is not the case. According to doctors and scientists who have researched the pattern of addiction, even among abusers, this does not appear to be the drug of first choice. Kuehne, MD, one of the study's authors, notes the majority of people who abuse this drug had first used other illicit drugs and do not meet the criteria for ADHD. Ritalin, Adderall, and other stimulant medications for ADHD. People with ADHD do not tend to abuse stimulant medicine and very rarely develop dependence on. Also, there's no evidence that people who take ADHD, who take these stimulants, are at greater risk for abusing other drugs. Solvency. Many prescription drugs have been made available over the counter for anyone to use. Because of how people have abused a particular drug, limitations have been made. For the lowdown on getting high, Goldstein. DIY, but before federal limitations were imposed on how much Sudafed a person could buy at one time in 2006, anyone with access to a pharmacy and Home Depot and some scientific know-how could set up a meth lab at home. Adderall dosages require specific height, weight, and ages to be prescribed. This is similar to buying other prescriptions over the counter. Most prescription bottles show what you're supposed to take for your specific age. It tells you how much you can take and how far apart you can take them. With a combination of specifics and limitations, Adderall usage can be more controlled.
It's time.